Hello and welcome back to the LEC Podcast. I'm Jack, joined by Odo and Finn. This week we have a bit more of a special episode as we're joined by Mochi and Showstopper, two of our referees from the LEC.
You'll get an inside look at what the refs do, some of their favorite stories over the years, the fact that they're not just sitting behind the players and just watching their play, and maybe some discussions about bugs and whatnot. But before we move forward, I just want to confirm, is this conversation safe? Videos?
Visit expressvpn.com/LEC to get your exclusive LEC offer from the #1 gaming VPN. Signing up today will unlock Hextech Chess, allowing you to open up skins and champions like Aurora and Xin Zhao. Rewards will vary depending on the plan you choose. Back over to you guys.
So the LEC season isn't quite over, but we still have a lot of kind of dead teams.
Dead?
Okay, I wanted to honor them, you know. So
By calling them dead.
well, yes, that's how you honor them, you know, like by really not downplaying their downfall. What teams will you guys miss and maybe not miss?
I will miss SK. I'm gonna just say it. I know people like to hate watch SK. I know SK is a bit of a controversial team among the fan community,
Yeah.
but I actually really like watching SK. I think their games are really fun. I think their drafts are fun. I think they just play a very volatile game, and love him or hate him, I think Leader is enjoyable and entertaining to watch. And I will miss tuning into my weekly SK game to just know I'm gonna get a shit show, but I will enjoy it.
Yeah, but it's entertaining for the wrong reasons. It's not like, oh, he's gonna be in and then he's gonna be this he is polarizing figure, I guess. But everyone was in just for the hate watch.
But don't you think that, for me, the spiel kind of got old this split, because like it was fun when you don't know if they're bad and you're kind of hoping that they're bad, or you're hoping that they're good, because either fun is fun, but then they're just bad and you're just like, oh.
I mean, to me, it was a very natural evolution. Okay, let me talk you through it. So I
Okay.
came into LEC Versus and I was excited because Mickey, obviously, this was his roster.
Yeah.
He put his name and branded this roster as his. He was very adamant about this was the roster he wanted.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. I wanted to see where he could take it. Now, after circa 3 weeks of Versus, I was kind of sure that this team would not go very far in our LEC region.
What made you be more? What? Okay, Finn. What
Stop
made you believe that?
I'm talking about my development here. So then I'm like, okay, people were very adamant about hate watching Leader. I'm not a Leader hate watcher. I like the guy as my ex-teammate. I think I had a good time playing with him. I kind of wanted to see what they could do. Like, can they contest for playoffs? Can they kind of go a little bit further? Maybe not. They didn't do that. Coming to Versus, I have now dropped all... Spring. Thank you, Jackspektra.
No worries.
I have now dropped all my expectations on SK Gaming, and I'm going into every game with a blank slate. I'm here for the show. I want to see what they draft. I want to see what they do. I'm just going to enjoy the gameplay. I know they're not a good team. I know it. I'm not delusional. I'm not hate watching. I'm not love watching. I'm just watching a good product. And that product was the LEC games with SK playing, and I'm going to miss him.
Fair enough. Do you think, so they've been playing with SlowQ in the EWC qualifiers. Do you think they would be a better team with SlowQ? And would you not enjoy watching them as much if they got SlowQ?
I think they would be a better team with SlowQ. I mean, I only watched a little bit of their EWC qualifiers, and I think SlowQ is a great player. First and foremost, he's Swedish. So that is
No, SlowQ would be really, really good for SK.
No, but I mean, I think SlowQ has been developing. He's been playing in KC Academy. It looks quite promising as a rookie. And I think this team right now is very centered around the mid lane with Leader. They are very fixated on playing heavy support mid jungle around Leader, making sure his picks can work. Now with SlowQ, I think this would allow them to play a little bit more standard. It would allow Wunder to play a little bit more normal champions, but first and foremost, I think it would allow Joppa to kind of not having to play without the support every single game, which I think would be good for his development, and I would like to see what he can do with it.
I don't really know if they would be better. Sure, they would lose their interesting factor, right? Because Leader wouldn't be there. All of a sudden, half of the people watching weren't really watching for the alleged
I
train
think
wreck.
Wonder has a big, there's a lot of personalities to like.
It is. There's a lot of great personalities, but that's why I don't know if changing mid lane would make them better, right? Like, I'm sure SlowQ is all right. He's a great talent, but at the same time, you are in a league where all of a sudden I feel like consistently over the last couple of years, the floor of the league got a lot higher. Maybe the ceiling is not as high as some of the fans would be wanting, of the good old glory days. And,
Hey,
and
we
all of
beat
this stuff.
Gen G, buddy. What are you talking about? Okay.
Okay, the floor, the ceiling.
The ceiling is sky high.
Yeah, it's to the moon. I still don't know if SK with any of the their little experiments that are happening with maybe changing the mid lane dynamic would work, because sure, you go back to a more traditional identity. All of a sudden, you have the drafts are okay. You don't have to pick Diana, Yasuo, Echo, and all of these polarizing picks. They just warp the whole team comp around you, and sure, you're going to enable Yopa, and maybe Mickey has more avenues to play, but I still don't know if pound for pound with all of these changes, if the roster would be good enough, because my instinct is still no. I feel like if it comes down to it, when summer split would come, if a change is happening in the mid lane department, I still don't think you're going to change that SK to go from 8 to where they are right now to playoffs. But the drawback would be that all of a sudden I'm not emotionally invested in SK anymore. Then that's kind of been the heart of the project for the SK lineup this year for me, has been I want to see the hate watch, because they sold it so well. They sold it so damn well.
Nepotism roster,
They played into that with the marketing and the branding so damn well. It was the perfect villain for the LEC. You had these bunch of villains with, I'm gonna bring my friend here and everyone hates him, and I'm gonna show everyone that we actually don't care so much, that we're gonna be good. But the thing is, it failed, and I feel like now, no matter what version of the SK roster you're gonna be having in summer, it's not gonna hit that hard. Even if they make top 6, I think people are still gonna not like it, because they're gonna be like, oh well, if you don't win the LEC, you're just bad. But they brought that weird monstrosity, which is nepotism, and that hatred, which they turned it into such a powerful emotion. That was such a driving force behind the SK narrative for these two splits.
Well, speaking of top 6, Fnatic didn't make it.
Okay, why did you have to take me there, Jack?
He just crashed out, Jack, okay? Do you want him to crash out twice in a row?
Round 2.
Okay, what do you want to know? What do you want to know from me, Jack? Come on.
You said a lot of words there about SK.
Yeah.
So let's hear the short story for Fnatic. What happened? Top cap?
Explain like I'm 5 years old.
Yeah, explain like I'm 5 years old.
Explain like I'm 5 years
How
old.
did Fnatic go from 2018 World Finals to 7th place?
Okay, so do you want the perspective of the insider man or the analytical perspective?
Let's hear the inside man.
I didn't expect you to actually.
He was not prepared.
Well. Obviously, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, right? When it comes to just individual player performance, top lane was a little bit of an issue, right? I felt like the main issue for Fnatic this split, because now that they're officially out of contention, right? We can just address facts as they were. I felt like top lane was a problem. I felt like in a lot of the games, top lane was just simply a lot behind, regardless of the matchup. Come 10 minutes or come 14 minutes, it was just too far behind. And that's the weird part about Fnatic, because when I joined, and overall when I saw the fan sentiment throughout the first 2 splits, was that, oh well, Upset is a problem, into Razork is a problem, into Vlad is a problem. But slowly but surely, some of those issues were beginning fixed. Upset, I feel like I didn't really see a single bad game. Maybe he had one bad game, but the series were all pretty good. Vladdy, inconsistency has been there, but overall his laning phase has still improved. And Razork, for all his faults from the previous years, where like the fans wanted his head and stuff, I felt like he was quite alright. I felt like he was quite good, but the consistent factor that was just missing for Fnatic was the top lane and the way he was being integrated in the team. I don't know if it was more of a strong side, weak side issue, or like skill issues and stuff like that. But that was the main point that I felt like made Fnatic lag behind.
So I'm gonna give you the outside perspective right now.
Okay.
From an outside analyst that was also a pro top laner.
Okay.
Top lane was a massive issue for Fnatic this split. I will say, in his defense, if there was ever a meta that you had to get slammed into a team being forced to play weak side, when everyone was playing Varus, Vayne, Jace, Gnar every single game, I think this meta would be the worst meta for a rookie to come in and being forced to play a tank against, because you're going up against people like Nako, like Kana, like even Rooster as well, that just makes these champions look so OP. And then you're either expected to match them on a range champion that is very volatile, and if you pick Varus into Jace against someone like Kana, Rooster, you're gonna get shit up. Like, let's be real.
Exactly, because right now with the fact that there's no swap, before you were able to get bailed out by the fact that there would be like a swap, there wouldn't be so easily to pick. It wouldn't be so easy to pick these lane dominant champions, because always before in the past you would have to think about, hey, is the enemy gonna swap against me? Can I actually afford to lock in, a Vayne or a Varus and have no sort of repercussions when it comes to the swap? Am I gonna destroy my team comp too much? No, well, now you're guaranteed 10 minutes of, action.
Bullying. Say it what it is, Oda. It's bullying.
Of straight up bullying, where there's just no way out. And realistically, I think top laners got very, very good at playing these top lane bully champions. Because
also, you get a free TP after 14 minutes.
That
so you can
does
go ghost or exhaust in bad matchups. Like, it's just a bad vibe up there right now.
And you can't really get bailed out by jungler so much. And I think for Empiros, I can't speak for him, but I can put myself in his shoes, because I had a similar issue when it came to Rogue. I came from Schalke. I just came off of the Miracle Run, but before that, obviously, the team before the Miracle Run was a dumpster fire. It was 1-10, worst place in the league, yada, yada, yada. And when you get this sort of opportunity where you feel like God reaches out and gives you a hand, no matter how good I was, I felt like I was an imposter there. I felt like, oh my God, I'm the worst player on the team. They gave me this opportunity. I don't really want to let them down. And I felt like I was having my worst games of all time at the beginning when I joined that team, because I felt like I had to fit in. I had to do what they wanted me to do. I lost my identity.
This is my fault, by the way, right? You realize why you felt this.
Why? You ran it down too hard?
No, because I was a hard player to mold into a weak side god.
Yeah.
And we tried a lot in Rogue 2019. It kind of worked. 2020, not quite as much in the end. I mean, sure, we got third in LEC summer and we went to Worlds. But in the end, they really wanted a weak side king, Odo. So what did they do? They got rid of poor little bitty Finn, who only played his little carries.
Finn.
And they said, let's get Odoamne. This guy plays a lot of tanks.
Finn.
And we're going to buy him, and he's going to play all the tanks.
I did not play tanks. Finn. Weak side king started in that split with Schalke. Weak side king did not exist before. I was playing Aatrox and I was playing normal champions, and I was good without jungle, unlike you. So stop this bullshit that they need a weak side king. It was just deserved, and you just sucked, Finn. Okay, I don't have a better description for it. But to go back to Empiros, because that's where it started.
Let's put up the solo kill stats between us, please.
But I want to ask you about Empiros. Like, do you then feel some kind of like responsibility for his
definitely.
failures, and also like, are you gonna try to help him move forward from this and improve and make him mold him into the type of top laner that you want him to be?
Well, I don't really want to mold him into any that I don't have
a protective parent.
I don't have this. I don't have this preference, because for me, weak side or strong side doesn't exist. It's either you're making a good play or you're making a bad play given the circumstances. Like if jungle is patting to you and you screwed up your wave state and you die to a gank, that's not weak side or strong side. That's just you not knowing, a simple concept and stuff like this. So it's not really about molding, and I do feel this personal attachment to making, obviously, whoever I work with or whatever top laner I work with to make him good. But it's not like, oh well, you're not gonna play carries, you're only gonna play tanks because this is like what the team needs from you. But it's just there are issues, and the only thing, again, to bring it back to the story about Rogue, when you come from ERL and you're not getting picked up by, like, let's say, I don't know, Shifters or Team Heretics or an org that is quite new, is not a legacy or prestigious org, it feels like you don't really have the space to make errors. And I can only put myself in his shoes that if I was a rookie in my first ever year in LEC and Fnatic holds me up, I would feel incredible amounts of pressure. And that, coupled with the fact that there's no lane swap, no way to get out of laning phase, you're pretty much forced to stay there and get bullied, that's an issue, right? Because I worked with him a lot, and a lot of times there's stuff where I feel like we're making progress, but then, again, all of these issues come up. So It is tough. It is tough, and I don't envy his position because top lane is again one of those roles that you always have to mold to what the team needs, and so far it just hasn't worked out.
I mean, it's the it's the first role to get sacked. If you need to sack someone, you usually sack the top laner. But
Yeah,
I want to ask you a little bit like, if you now you have the answers in your hand, would you come into this split with a different mindset to kind of help Empiros, or do you think that it was just a really tough situation to be in overall?
I think it was just a pretty tough situation to be in overall because I felt like coming in. I mean, I came in kind of like last moment right before spring
Yeah.
started, but I felt like I had solutions. Obviously, I had answers and solutions and things that I wanted to implement. But it's just since everything it's a moving project and there's fires that you can put out everywhere. There's times where, for example, it's not like I was only working with Empiros and stuff like this. It's just like whatever was the biggest fire in that week, I would address it and put it out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Some tough words here from the Fnatic coach. But
Okay, buddy.
Shifters.
That's a team.
They're
that
exciting.
That's so. You gave me the whole spiel about SK, right?
Shifters are your
Shifters?
SK.
Shifters is my
I
SK.
didn't say I thought SK would be good next
Shifters.
split.
Mm,
I
Shifters
just thought
is-
they were gonna be fun to watch.
It's my SK because I personally don't have any attachment to Shifters. I mean, Trimby's there. I mean, I like Trimby, but I don't like Trimby that much where he just makes me a Shifters fan, you know?
You can just say you like Trimby.
You
bro.
don't like
You're
Trimby that much?
I was
I like
trying to do
Trimby,
myself
but like
biased.
in a straight man type of way.
So I had no personal attachment to Shifters because frankly I didn't care about them. I didn't care about them at all. So when it comes to no
You're
bias,
not selling me on Shifters right now,
bro, but like their gameplays for a team that went 9th place right now, they're 1-8, barely just scrapped a win right now at the end of the split. I am sad that they're not making it forward. I mean, sure, I would have to kick GX or someone out of playoffs, but I'm sad that they're not making forward because most of the super interesting early games came from them. I loved Rooster. I loved Padak. And Nuke, Nuke is a little bit happier now. He's not so full depresso mode. But I'm just sad that I don't get to see more. I'm just sad that this version of Shifters came in now towards the end of the split, and they had a lot of inconsistencies that when it comes to summer split, I want to see more, and I want to see them fix some of them.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Roosters is just straight up top 3 top laner in our league. To me, it's like
Okay, no,
it's kind
no.
of like Nako, and then there's Rooster.
No, because okay, Finn, you're walking back into the same trap that you walked when I replaced you. When you're
Okay,
a top
okay,
laner,
talk to me, Odo.
when you're a top laner and you're playing on a objectively underperforming team or a poor team, it's so easy to just pick some champions, win your lane, and be like, "Oh no, someone
Odo,
come and save
I
me."
hear you.
So who's your top?
No.
three?
Although I hear you, and I think this argument usually is valid. But when the meta is pick range top and win lane, as we're seeing globally right now, Rooster is by far better at doing that, playing the meta than other LEC top laners
Finn,
right now.
Yes, Finn, but Shifters is also the team that just wins the first 15 minutes, and then once 15 minutes hits, it feels like everyone just presses the button and says, "Good luck, everyone."
Yeah, but I mean, Rooster is just finding leads in lanes that just come naturally to him. Like he's just playing the meta champions
Yeah, but
really
you
well.
might just have another Alfari situation.
Okay, then who's your top 3 top laner?
Top 3 top laner.
Or who's your number 3? Because I assume
so I have-
Nako Kana is the 1-2.
I have Nagnako Kana, and number 3. I mean, depends what you value. Do you value someone who's gonna win
It's
you
you,
games?
bro. What do you value?
Yeah.
I would put BB even with
BB.
BB even with bad laning phase.
I mean, that's just the historical.
Let me pull up
No,
the
it's,
BB
it-
stats.
it's not historical. It's BB with bad laning phase. I would take him because I know that when it comes to mid game, where a lot of teams are throwing mid game, there's so many teams that then when it comes to dragon control and setting up objectives, that's where they throw the game in. There's teams that don't know how to move from side lane to mid lane. And that's what I value a lot more in a top laner. I don't value that bullshit about laning phases and stats like this. Sure, you're gonna suck, and you can always improve on laning phase, but improving map and macro is so much harder.
But
This
Odo,
explains a lot
Odo.
why
Yeah.
Fnatic's
Why
top
you guys
laner.
just mugging me? Why you guys mugging me?
I was gonna say, what was it that went wrong for Fnatic? We talked about 10 minutes how top lane laning phase made the game unplayable. And now you're
Okay,
saying top lane laning phase doesn't matter.
like, okay, BB loses lane. We can all agree that.
Yes.
But he's like soft losing.
Okay.
It's in the reasonable amounts. When you guys ask me about Empiros, even as his coach, I have to say some of the losses were quite unreasonable. So you cannot compare apples to oranges.
Can we pull up BB stats right now?
Yeah, I'm pulling up both Imperials and BB
Yes.
stats.
Can we put them side
They're
by
actually
side?
very similar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay, tell me, help me.
Imperials is ahead in CS at 17% of the games, while
Okay.
average down 11 CS and 600 gold, while BB is on average down 8 CS, 360 gold.
See, that's like less than
Okay.
half.
I mean, okay, yes, it is a little bit less. He's losing. It's a 200 gold diff.
Okay, now,
But both are the worst laning.
Okay,
tops in our
Odo,
league.
can you tell me all the good map moves? Or can you tell me some of the good teamfight plays or map moves that BB has done this split?
But
He had a really good Shen game where
That
he
is
got
true.
like the crazy play. I cast that.
So it's hard to see individually where I'm like, oh, he's the one calling this, or he's the one moving here, and he's the one creating all of these plays, but he's just fitting in the system. I very, very, very rarely see BB just, grief a rotation or over push a wave or just be late on objective. While when I look at Empiros, because he was the
But
main
we were
protector-
comparing BB to Rooster now.
Yeah,
How often do you
compared
see
to- you don't
Rooster
need to
do?
fight-
Oh,
Empiros,
oh,
bro.
with Rooster. I mean, Rooster, I just feel like most of the time he's just, I'm going to go for the 50-50 wave. I'm going to over push a side lane. I'm just going to go and get my extra wave before the objective so that I have as much gold as humanly possible.
But don't you think Rooster's in a lot worse team than BB and
Yes,
is then
of
forced to
course.
make a lot riskier plays to push the game forward?
I would agree, and
Yeah.
I would say this. I think that that's completely true. But the thing is, if you're asking me if Rooster would do better on a better team, yeah, sure, I can see it. But I'm just saying the only thing I said is that he looks a lot better because he's on a worse team. Because usually when you look at worse teams, there's always a standout player, and the standout player is undeniably Rooster.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But to me, I'm talking about the context of the meta right now. Because I'm talking about the top 3 top laner right now. I would agree if we would go, like, in general, I would say BB is the better top laner than Rooster, and I would have more faith in him. But considering the meta we're in right now, I value Rooster's laning prowess a lot more just because how potent, globally, and in Europe right now, a strong laning phase seems to be in the top laner.
If you're asking me if you would swap BB and Rooster, would Rooster make G2 better? I
Yes.
don't think so.
Right now, yes.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
Like, if you talk about in the context of the LEC 2026, 2026, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Spring split, I think if you have Rooster on G2, G2 would perform better.
I don't think so.
Like,
That's
only if you talk regular season so far, the games that we have seen, I think that's a valid statement. Jack, what do you think?
I think that's valid. I
Yeah.
think that's valid for sure. I think BB has been very lackluster. I don't know. I feel like he's been on a. He hasn't been on a tank every game, but he's been mostly just kind of left to his own lonesome and playing pretty bad laning phases. And I think it is. I think it's harder to be good on a bad team. Like it's easier to have the higher contrast, but of like your team is really bad and you're doing well. But it's not that. Rooster is just like really winning lane and better than like even against Nako, he had great lanes. And I think shifters with Sheo probably would be a playoff team if they had Sheo from the beginning.
I agree.
Maybe I just don't see the. I'm just not convinced yet of Rooster mid game when it comes to taking a team like G2 for example and elevating them.
But I
further.
feel like G2 would like teach him macro. I think it's easier
I mean,
to
yeah, but
teach
that-
macro
Okay,
than to
Odo,
but
have
the-
you
but-
seen shifters mid game? Are you putting that on Rooster?
no,
The way they're getting caught in
It's
mid
a
game?
little bit on Rooster.
no, but
It's a
like
little
for
bit.
example,
It's
if
like
you
20%.
if you put BB on shifters, I feel like shifters would be better.
No, I disagree with
You
that.
think if you put BB on shifters, what?
in
No,
this
that's-
meta,
Of course.
in
Bro,
this,
they would have
in
three
this
losing
Varus,
waves every game.
Jace, Snar, Hellscape we're in right now, do you think you and Rumble as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
Wow.
Why?
bro, I've seen way too many games with top laner just being incredibly strong and having no clue how to move around the map. I'm not saying that Rooster doesn't, but it's just like BB, that's just his main proficiency. When I think of BB, I just think of smart control
agree.
gameplay and
I agree.
when rotating and enabling team to move around the map. And he also talks and makes sure and coordinates everyone well and makes sure that everyone's where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with you on BB's strengths. Like, BB has always been this player where if he goes even in lane, I'm scared to play against
the
him.
reason I'm saying that is because most of the teams right now in the league are just awful at mid game.
Yeah, I agree as well.
That's why if collectively the strength of all of those teams would be that the mid game is a lot cleaner, I would say yeah, Rooster is a lot better. He brings a lot more. But in the landscape of most teams sucking at mid game, that's where someone like BB with a poorer laning phase. It's not like he's getting stopped, guys. It's just like his laning phase is that he's most of the time being a little bit behind, but in mid game he's doing wonders.
Well, I would say that we can find out in playoffs if Rooster is better than BB, but unfortunately we cannot
Yeah,
do
we
that.
can't.
What we can do, however, is ask how the referees do their job. which we're gonna do.
No, we're gonna do that. That sounds great, Jack. Thank you.
Great segue.
Yeah.
Thank you, Finn. Okay. So we got some refs here. Would you guys want to introduce yourselves? Who are you guys?
I go first.
Yeah.
So my name is Alpay. Most players also know me as Mochi, just a nickname that came up throughout the years. I figured much easier for most players as well.
Do you like Mochi?
I do like Mochi. Indeed,
I like Mochi too.
Other than it, yeah, like this is my 6th year now working as a referee for the LEC. Before that, I came here regularly as a spectator, viewer. Here, met with friends. Spent a lot of time here in the venue. So, yeah, happy to be here now, sitting with you guys. Thank you for
He
that.
loved it so much it became his job.
Basically, yeah.
Same for me. Me and Alpay, aka Mochi, knew each other. I'm Evren. Most people refer to me as the showstopper.
okay, buddy. How many times do you pause the game, or what's going on there?
Every chance I get.
You ask every player, do you want to pause? We can pause.
Yeah, like I saw a bug. Do you guys want to pause? No,
No, I'm the showstopper, right?
that's not what happens. But yeah, actually, same background as Mochi as well. We've been going way back. Love the game. Love the show. Been a long time viewer, and I also now am in my 7th year as well. So
Yeah.
I've been through thick and thin in terms of refereeing for the LEC.
I mean, for me, you guys have been around forever. I think when I was a rookie, you guys was reffing already.
think so, yes.
We've always kind of been around each other as well. So I remember
Yes.
developing a bit of a relationship with you guys as well, because we sat
Wow.
through those stages so many times.
Yeah, but basically, yeah. So there were a lot of let me call them, like kind of like the old guard of players that were already there when we came in. They were there for multiple years, and then obviously with the now or the recent years, a lot of player shift happened and stuff. So we're obviously been longer here than most of the players, but yeah.
Damn.
I'm old, even though I'm young.
Basically, that's what it comes down to exactly.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Do you guys have any big league background? Have you played a lot of ranked? Are you guys high rank?
Yes.
High rank?
I mean, okay,
Is it a
depends
requirement
on
to
what
be a
you-
ref to be high ranked in league?
Is there an ELA requirement?
Back then,
Be a ref?
yes, there was an ELO requirement, and I think before Emerald existed, it was Platinum.
Well, that's
I
quite
believe-
low.
Yeah, for us.
Back
for
then,
us-
I mean,
high
for
I
rank.
you
mean, I'm
gu-
quite elitist, you know.
To be
I mean-
fair, if you put it in perspective, I think back then Diamond was the minimum requirement for pros even to participate.
Yeah, it
in
was
the LEC.
Diamond.
Okay,
two,
but
I
no pros were. Okay, I guess it was the balls.
I think
he
the-
was
I
on
think
the
they
diamond.
only
subs,
did-
the subs had to be diamond free.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
and I
enough.
think they only did that also because of the decay rules as well, because you
Mm.
decay in like 1 or 2 days. But yeah, we've both hit high rank masters, and
Oh.
Damn.
I've been playing it. I love to say this. This is like one of my biggest fun facts of myself. I've been playing for more than half my life, which sounds insane. So it's been since 2012, beginning
Bro,
of
it's same
2012.
for me actually.
Actually,
You
that's the
just
same
blew
for
my
me.
mind.
I think this fits all of us, kind
Oh
of.
my
yeah.
god, you just
It's
blew
like-
my mind. I've
Yeah,
been
Exactly,
playing for
more than
my
half
life.
our lives.
I mean, I started playing when I was 11, and I'm 26 now. So it's been for quite some time I've been
Yes.
playing this
Oh,
game. So
Jesus.
it's bizarre when
Exactly.
you look back at it.
yeah.
Okay, Jack, take us forward because I don't like.
Bro,
I
just
don't like this fun fact.
It's so crazy. I cannot believe it. I mean, what do you have to do to prep for the matches? Do you have to do anything to prepare, or is it just you walk up, players are there, you're chilling, sitting back?
So usually we come in fairly early, like before the teams even arrive. First things first, we have our meeting with the crew. Due to ref rotation, not everyone is there every day, so we have a pre-meeting where we talk about the previous days, what happened, were there issues, whatnot, just so everyone is has the same level of information, so we can start the day well, and there's no issues going forward. That's first things first. Then from there we go. Usually first after that we set up stage, make sure that teams, whenever they go on stage, everything is ready, prepped, and set up for them to just get going right away.
And what's your favorite part about being a ref? Is it just being in the league, being so tight to the environment, or?
For myself, and I think for a lot of people as well that work as ref, is I think being on stage, especially during hype moments.
Yeah.
That's when you're right in there, and even though you're not participating in the game, in case something goes wrong, which we hope not, and we always try our best to prevent, we are the first responders in.
So
in
you're
that
telling me
case.
that you were there when Faker wins Worlds. You're living
I
that moment
was-
with him. So you're winning Worlds with him.
I was behind Faker in Game 5 versus BLG in 2024.
When Igali ult
So he
stopped.
won.
When Igali
Yes.
top and Graga stalls for like 10 minutes, and I'm literally just standing there and watching.
Okay, but
You're
you
like
need to do-
vicariously living through him in that
Yes.
moment.
Even though I'm not even part of it. And now if there's a pause that happens, I'm like instantly turned on, and then it becomes fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Do you have the same experience, Mochi? or-
Yeah, like I was sharing the same stage with him that
Oh,
year as well
okay,
for
okay.
World
Yes.
Finals. Like it was.
Were you on the
Were
other
you
side?
guys
Were you
on
on the
1v1?
BLG side?
It's like our own fight, you know. It's like who's winning. No, but,
The referee
it's like-
battle.
Do you
It's like
guys keep track of your winners against each other when you guys are on stage?
in the like we don't do it, but we are a lot of times teams goes like you know it's like teams being more superstitious than it's actually us. You
I
know,
mean,
we're
to be honest, I was one of the biggest instigators when it came to
No,
that. Because
same,
In
by
my
the way.
last couple of years of playing, I felt like no matter I would not even look at who's behind me. I wouldn't care the name of the ref. I would be like, "Hey ref, what's your win rate today?"
Yes.
And based on the answer, it was cooked or it was a good day.
I mean, especially those last years when I was in Rogue and I needed all the kind of booms
Yeah.
I could get. I was like, please, let me have a good ref today. Like we need something right now.
Oh my god, yeah, I used to hate the refs when they had a negative win rate on that day. But yeah, in the dark days, you need any W's you can get. You know.
Does, does it
I
feel
might-
like you lose as a ref if the players lose?
No.
Okay.
What about
It's-
at the beginning? Did it feel like, oh, my team lost? Well, not my team,
No.
but like the team I'm refereeing.
I was trying
No,
to get
I-
rid of us immediately.
I think in the beginning it was a bit more different. It was more like, you know, the players you only watched from the stands, you know, you were all of a sudden behind them working closely with them. So to a certain extent you were quote unquote starstruck, but after a few weeks in, you know, it just becomes routine as well. So you get
Yeah.
used to it, and it's also much easier. Usually the first hurdle is like communicating with them, but even that eases up by time. But the only thing, obviously, just to come back to what you asked earlier as well, is like if you're behind them, you watch, like, it's not that we're happy with the team or whatever, right? But it's like you hear the comms, you have all the players, you hear everything that is happening besides the gameplay you're seeing. So sometimes it gets hype, and then you watch even more close. You know, you pay even more attention to before, and it's just like a view, like, or the perspective we have is just really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally natural, especially if you both love League. Like
Yeah.
being
Yes.
able that close. I remember I was in the World Finals in London for the BLG versus T1, and just being there, like it feels so different. You know, it's like it feels so real, and it's such an incredible moment. But I also heard you guys play some 1v1s with some of the players, or is that a thing that you guys do? Because I know some of the players they like warm up in customs and stuff like that. Do you guys actually play ever against any of the players?
I have never played against a pro 1v1, like in a custom or whatever.
Yeah.
There were instances where I met pro players in my game.
Oh, okay.
That happened, but it was like never an instance where I actually like created a custom or they created a custom and we joined them to play a game.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we have a thing called playtests.
Yeah.
It happens like way before the show even begins. We load in, we test the PCs, we make sure that the quality and the standard is always kept high. And then sometimes people like Odo gank us and also sometimes join us for a short moment. And then I faced Odoamne in a 1v1 once.
Oh, so you two 1v1 a few times.
I
I
did
mean,
one
not
beyond him. I
during,
think
when
it
he was
was
a pro, but it was during a different event.
it was
um,
it was I think it was the Red Bull event or so,
Yes,
and he was
in
doing
Munich, I think,
playtest, and then he decided to ego check me.
Did you lose?
No, of course not. I told
Well, I
him.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way I shut his ego down, because I didn't play League for it. I was 3 months, off of my League
Okay.
addiction, so I didn't play a single one. He's like, okay, this is my chance to win, and then of course I murdered him, right? And then
Okay, he picked Jace into my Ambessa.
Yeah, so the
and
thing
he
is-
picked-
Although this is the weakest flex
Yeah.
of all time
no,
that
no,
I've
no, hear me out,
heard.
hear me out. The-
No, this
like-
is like always
I
like
completely
No,
destroyed him.
no. The biggest flex was that I destroyed him, and then I look at my watch and I said, buddy, my heart rate didn't even go over 60.
you're
this
so
is the crazy-
petty.
That's crazy.
Bro,
but
I
it's
said
true.
to him, next time maybe you get me to 70.
That is true. He did
I mean,
say that.
bro, at that point I was in my 30s, fresh 30s. I had to get any dub I could get. That's just how it goes.
There's like he went to bed and I'm like, damn, I did that good.
Bro, that's the whole point. There's always this young gun trying to take your spot, you
Yeah,
know? You
that's
just have
true.
to put him down when you can.
I did get humbled that day. Yeah.
I remember Evren actually when I was playing, you'd always come up to me and try to teach me some mechanics. Like, I found this
Okay,
really
that
cool
is-
leasing combo, and there's like,
But it was always the
Yes.
leasing combo
yeah,
with
and
him.
it's like, and I'm like, okay, really good. Finn, move aside. Okay, I'm gonna show this leasing combo. And I'm like, sure, bro.
Refereeing going too
I love-
far.
I love sharing my knowledge in League. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. That
It
also
was a
happened.
really good
That did
moment. I
happen.
really liked
Yeah.
it.
Was it a
Hey.
good combo, the leasing combo?
I don't remember it.
I can tell you guys.
Yeah, okay,
It's-
what's the combo?
Lee Sin has this mechanic where he interrupts one of his spells with a different spell. He
Mm.
unlocks his ult during that
Oh,
animation.
yeah.
So
Classic.
he can Q W and then ult a target, right? But you can also do that if you cancel your E2, like the one where he slows the enemies with. There is a
yeah.
small frame of the animation where you Q1, you E, and then you E2, and then you Q2. And if you time it perfectly right, during that Q, without using your W to cancel the Q, you can kick someone midair.
That is
And-
quite cool, actually.
And they will get caught off guard. And then you can kick him and ward jump right after him if you don't hit him as the original Q target. So it has use cases. It is a really cool combo. But
Now
try
my
to
question
pull that off.
is this a bug or not?
It's not. Because it's the exact
Of course
same.
it's not, because he's the referee. He says it's not a
It's
No,
bug.
no, it's not a bug.
It's not a bug.
It's like
It
the
is the
actually.
same exact interaction as canceling the Q with the
Mm,
W or
yeah.
vice versa. So
Have you ever pulled it off in a real game though?
I pulled it off in a real game only once back when Prowler's Claw was still a thing. That was my favorite.
yeah.
Like I've been
that
studying
was fun.
Chinese Lee Sin one
That,
trick
that was
combos
crazy.
in practice tool for hours and they removed the item and I've never been that sad.
I feel like the Chinese TikTok combo market kind of fell off. Like, I
Yes,
remember
yeah,
after
so
Prowler's
many-
Claw was gone, it was a yeah.
Legit, back then, every setup time was not team setup time. It was his setup time to show players.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, speaking of bugs, as we touched upon earlier, do you have
Yep.
any favorite bugs? Like any that you remember throughout the time? So you're like, oh my god, that bug was not that you loved the bug, but it was funny or something like
Yeah.
that.
You go first. Okay. Yeah. I love two specific bugs. One, fortunately but unfortunately never made the league, is Viego taking over Jenna's body, channeling the Q, taking over Rumble's body, while the Jenna Q is
Oh, I
channeling.
know that one.
Okay.
I saw that
And then
one.
Rumble, the Viego Rumble, starts firing up, shoots Jenna tornadoes like crazy.
Yeah, you guys didn't see that? That was crazy. It was one of the...
That shit never made the league, but that is my by far favorite
I've
bug.
never seen that, actually. And I'm a
Yeah.
massive nerd. What?
That's crazy.
And
I mean,
then-
I remember reading it because when Viego came out, when you're playing, you get this this list of bugs from
Yeah.
from the I guess competitive ops. That's the department or whatever, and it's a list of a lot of bugs. Like 100, 200, 300 bugs, and then at some point when you're bored, you just scroll down and you're like, "Wait, Viego does what?"
Literally that exact
Yeah.
phrasing. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so with the bugs, like since you mentioned the list as well, right? Like we usually categorize. We have minor bugs, right? Those everyone is aware of, or even most people know. And then we have the critical bugs. We also have, and those are usually the ones when we're on stage, like specifically keep an eye out for as well. Like while the game is running, is specifically if certain champs are in the game and it might trigger.
So I'm really curious about this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when it comes down to it, it's always the players who pause.
Yes.
Have there been instances?
99%.
Have there been instances where you guys notice something, or someone or a referee notices and says, "Oh, something funky happened. I should pause."
So there were instances, or when we watched the game, like we noticed things where we're like, "Hey guys," like then we report to our head ref or our
Mm.
matchups lead. We're like, "Hey guys, this looked a bit fishy. Could you guys just have a quick look? Like, go back 15 seconds, have a look at X champ, and just look at it real quick, whatever." And then they usually investigate, have a look, because I'm on stage, I can't really go back or talk to the player in that sense. So that those instances happened, but unless it is really like there's never really a reason for us
Okay.
to pause from our end.
Mm.
Yeah, because it is on the player to
Yeah.
pause, no? Like,
Yes.
is there ever a scenario where
Yes.
you guys are supposed to pause? No.
There are scenarios of, how do I phrase this? There are scenarios of interactions that are big, crucial moments where it can disrupt the flow of the game a lot.
Mm.
And everybody always prior to the game knows that these interactions are not allowed. For
Yeah,
example, I don't know, buying an item on a champion or a rune,
Yeah.
choosing
Yeah.
a rune. Those things, if we flag them and if everyone is on the same page, which we always try to make sure that everybody's on the same page, teams and the competitive operations, is then we interfere. Then we pause the game
Okay.
and we say,
So, for
this can't
example,
happen.
I remember there was some IRL game or something where somebody, because in tournament realm, you pick your role, right? You pick ADC, you
Yes.
pick support, and one team picked all support, and then they all bought the support items.
Oh,
But if a team did
Yeah, that one
that,
was a
then you
threshold.
guys, I guess, would pause and say, no, you can't do that.
yes, in our instance, without going like too much into that, but they
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like teams, that's also what our head ref does. Like teams submit their roster / lineup, and that's also the role they get assigned to in that sense. So
Yeah.
there's no option for them to choose anything else.
So if a player bought an item is not allowed to, would he be then forced to sell it then? Because that's what I was told, at least when I was a player, that like you probably have to sell that item then.
Yeah, so-
so don't do it.
It's not
Exactly.
probably, it will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you leave base, we force you to recall, or you will need to recall, sell the item.
Yeah.
But obviously,
Lucky.
if you're in base, if you're still in base, undo it.
Yeah.
Buy something proper, man.
Buy a real item.
You guys should start being like build critics. You're like, you don't like the build? Go sell that. Go sell that.
I would love to be that abusive with my power, but no,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Let's stop losing to Boris, man. Like,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
I was definitely not that responsible with that bug list because Odo said he watched it and he's like,
I-
oh, this is, and I watched it like, and I saw opportunities for my solo queue games.
Also
I
not
saw
allowed.
like, okay, these are clearly interactions that could benefit me in some way.
My
also
biggest,
not allowed.
yeah, my biggest obsession was I would read through the bug list, and then someone reports it and scream. I'm like, bro, it's on the list. You're not allowed to pause. We can't chrono break it. It's a scrim anyway, right? I was curious because I don't know if it's ever been discussed, but I think a lot of fans, when it comes to those pauses, when it comes to player reports a bug, there's never really been shed light on what's actually happening, on what the whole process is to determine, hey, was it a bug? What's the ruling, etc., etc. So if you guys can give us a little bit of insight on that, obviously to whatever limitations there are, I think it would be great just so that the fans and or everyone involved is just a little bit closer to the situation.
I think to understand what's exactly happening, we should build the team first that works behind
Yeah.
decisions made by these. It is first responders, us on stage, the eyes and ears of what is called QC or MOC,
Mhm.
which is Match Operations Center. And that team consists of different departments, which the first one are the refs on stage. And then we have the head ref. Then we have the buy riot, the match operations person who's handling all the big decisions that are made at the end of the day. And then we also have IT who also help us identify certain issues, not in-game related, but more hardware related or other like software related issues that are not really in-game. And then we also have live ops, live operations. That is technically the referee for broadcast. He's in QC and reports everything that happens in QC to broadcast so we can share as much info as we can to the audience. And yeah, and I think going off with like that, you can keep on going what we specifically do.
So usually the how we proceed with pauses, right? Player pauses, we check who paused the game. We talk to the player reports right away. It's like, hey ref, X happened. Can you have a look? And then usually we grab a shadow, like sometimes we grab shadow play from the player. Most of the time we grab shadow play. We have a look into it, check, and then also, but there's also our aspect, like our matchups. Yes, he's the right representative. There's trust, but he also trusts us if we have an idea of what is happening. Because let's say it's a champ I myself play a lot, then there's also trust towards us and whatnot. But usually it's when it comes to a pause, that's why sometimes they take a bit longer because it's just big group effort. Player reports to us, we investigate. Can we help the player right away? Or does it need to go the next, to the next bridge, which is then IT, matchups lead, and head ref? They have a closer look into it, and then our job is to communicate with the teams on stage. And usually, golden rule is if it's a pause, teams don't talk unless you are the player affected by the bug.
Okay, but
Yes.
how many times do players actually talk? Because to be honest, I was a big breaker of that rule where
Yeah.
I'm just bored, man. In that pause, I feel like half the time players just want to talk, not even about the game, but most of the time I'm just talking to the referees.
Yeah, so that is happened back then, happens now as well, where teams try to speak, test the waters a bit, whatnot. But we are very quick on interfering. We're like,
Yeah,
no
you guys
talking.
are no fun.
It's like we are pretty much
Unfortunately,
fun,
part
but
of
not
our
in a
job, yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
So it's like No talking.
I think at one point I tried to like coach my team to learn how to do Morse code so we can like tap our tables to communicate.
Bro, you were
things.
looking for every competitive advantage. You're reading
If
the
you
bug
were a
list, you see-
You are the
competitor-
worst, Finn.
If you're a
I
competitor,
was a competitor. I didn't do this.
every single avenue of a victory is a good thing, and you need to play the game. You need to play the board you're playing. And I
What
think
do our referees think about this?
I would have 100% caught it. Like
Okay.
I don't
so
even
you know
allow-
Morse code.
I don't even know, but I know secret
It's just
language.
confidence. It's
Yeah.
confidence.
I don't know Morse code, but I can probably see a pattern happening on stage. So like, I even though I would love to, but I can't. I always love to chat with the teams, and sometimes they have very stupid questions when they during pauses of like, oh hey, how's the weather? And I'm like, bro, please don't talk, because in the worst case, that can be secret language. So
Mm.
I'm mega aware of everything they do, and I also always tell everybody, please don't. And so it's very interesting. It's I would
I'm
definitely catch that. I would not understand what he's saying, but I would say stop.
I'm imagining like Finn talking in code like the weather's really good up top.
Basically, yeah.
It's raining over Baron Pit right now.
Yeah.
You know what? Also, just to give you guys a bit of like understanding why we actually enforce players not talking, right? It's we're investigating, we're actually on it and trying to solve, because obviously for the players, for broadcast, for everyone, we want to go live as fast as possible. So if players talk, it just makes it a bit more difficult for us to actively troubleshoot, work on a fix, and get live as fast as possible. So that's like the main reason behind why we are really, really harsh when it comes to pauses and players not talking, unless we give permission to talk.
I'm curious, what does the investigation process look like? It's probably different in every scenario a little bit, but like, how do you, like a bug happens, how do you determine actually that was a bug? Especially if it's not something that you already had like listed, right? Like it's a new informed bug.
Even if a bug is not on the list,
Yeah.
or if we are not aware of a bug, I think all of us, even including the player, they also always like to give their feedback and telling us that this was not an intended interaction. We all are aware if an interaction in game is actually intended or not. So even if we don't know what actually just happened, and it looks funky, for example, I don't know, Draven auto attacks and he catches his X, but his auto attack doesn't reset. That's a clear bug. It's not on the list. It's not written down anywhere. But we know this is not supposed to happen. If he catches his X, it's supposed to spin.
Yeah.
Like period. And that's when we get the reports from the player, we investigate, we take a look at it, we confirm with everybody to get on the same page and say, okay, this is a bug, or no, this is not a bug, and then we make our decisions clear to the teams before we go with the next step of resuming the game. Then.
Fair enough. Is that where like a lot of the skill of a referee kind of comes in, or does your experience play a big role there because you kind of experience so many bugs, or maybe the game changes too much? I mean, League changes a lot, so maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like various factors, right? There's like our experience that comes in very handy, right? But that helps us more when it comes to how do we handle a pause, how do we communicate with QC, because communication in those instances needs to be very efficient. It needs to be short, on point, and whatnot, right? But obviously, I think we're the ones playing League the most as well, like out of our QC crew. So it's like playing the game most definitely helps you have a clear understanding of, are certain interactions intended? Yes, no. How does a champ work? What happens? And what else comes with it?
Fair enough. Okay, I got a question for you two.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever spill water on stage?
I have I've seen a lot of water spillages,
Yeah.
but I've never had actually any equipment get damaged by water. So
Oh.
I've been here for so
That's why
long,
they're
and
pros.
all of our equipment still works fine.
But what's the most ridiculous reason players have paused for you? Because I have Kasing eating 20 hot dogs before a game, and then in the middle of the game, I'm stressed, and then I hear a pause and says, guys, it's an emergency, and he just leaves without telling the ref anything, and then everyone just stun locked, you know? So for me, I don't know, it was like 2016 or 2015.
Okay, yeah, this was way before.
Yeah, it was like in the Wild West times, but there was, for me, that's my benchmark of crazy stories. But I'm sure maybe nowadays they're a little bit more mild. But you guys surely must have had some examples where someone just did something where, because technically you're not allowed to pause to go to the bathroom, but Like, let's be real, if something
20
bad
hot dogs is a large chunk of hot dogs.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
be
yeah.
real. Let's
You
just
can-
be.
you can
The
make an
sheer
exception.
quantity of hot dogs is a cause of emergency for sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
do you guys have any stories like that where someone is just, okay, I kind of have to do it because it's just so ridiculous?
And like, I'm very sorry to say, but there is nothing that comes remotely close to what you just said. I think the one that happened in the past happens nowadays as well is like they pause the game. I ask what's the issue, and it's like a fly.
Fly.
A fly.
Oh yeah, the mysterious.
I
fly.
paused for that as well. But sometimes there's just like 2 or 3 of them, and they just fly everywhere. Like, I'm sorry, ref, but you have to do something.
I just imagine the ref coming with a fly swatter. It's like, okay, I'm on it, Oda, I'm on it.
Actually,
there is a very close scenario where that almost happened. There was like 2 pauses in one game for a fly, and then
You have to take it serious at that point.
And then I see this fly land on a player's chair. And I was so close to smacking the shit out of him. I was like, he's gonna notice this, but they're not gonna pause again for a fly. And I was like, I can't. So I was so close.
You have more self-control than I would have had. I would have smacked the shit out of that fly, that's for sure.
yeah, we might have had conversations on our end where we're like, guys, can we just have like a fly swatter on stage, like please at this point, like something.
It doesn't sound bad, especially summer in Berlin.
Yeah.
It can be a lot of flies. But let's say the match is over.
Yeah.
What do you guys do? Do you guys do anything after that, or is job done?
Okay, Jack, you can't just ask it like that.
I mean, I don't know. Like after we if you're casting, for example, the match is over, you job done.
So
If you're playing, match over, job done. Right?
Sure.
It's 2 instances, right? Because as of now, we had 2 best of 3s every day. So it's like if match 1 is over, what usually happens, we just assist the teams in unplugging everything, taking it off stage, trying to make sure stage is clear, because then we also have cleaners cleaning stage real quick and set up so we can get ready for the next 2 teams that are coming on stage, and all of that needs to be fairly fast. So that's usually where we try to help as much as possible. Like that's what we call transition time. And if you just want to take over for end of day.
And then end of day is usually way more chill than transition time. It's basically the same, but we're not transitioning to anything except going home. We help the players and teams get off stage, collect all their stuff, make sure they didn't forget anything. We pack our boxes because I don't know if we know this, but we do store peripherals of players here in the studio for obvious reasons. And then after that, we go back into our room, we meet with our QC or MOC, and then we just have a end of day briefing. And that basically, after that wraps it up. We return our gear, collect our gear, and then, pretty normal wrap up.
Okay. Now, I'm curious, is the reffing process different for international events than LEC? Because can you talk to me a little bit about that? I'm not like, however much you want, but like, obviously in internationals, there are different languages.
Yep.
I assume different parts as well of reffing communities working together. Is that a bit of a different field to navigate?
Roadshows in general, not only internationals, are always a big event or like a big shift in workflow to challenge, to tackle, because it's a different venue. You have different broadcast partners that you work with and venue partners that you work with. It's not 100% the fully similar or familiar team that you work with in the LEC. So there is different routes to stage. The stage is completely different. There's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind in making sure that the transition time stays the lowest, because we don't want 30-minute breaks between games. That's also a big part of our job, to make sure that everything transitions smoothly between games as well. So yeah, there is a very big difference between working for international or roadshow events and just working in the LEC, because everything here is already almost perfected to min-maxing.
Wow.
Damn.
I mean, it was lovely having you guys, Mochi and Evren. Do you guys want to give some closing words to the fans, all the referee fans? They're tuning in every day to watch you guys.
Hell yeah. You go first.
Oh my god, I don't know what to say. I didn't expect that. No, just like first of all, thank you to you guys again, like for having us here. Like, appreciate it, to share our view with the fans in general, with the broader community, so everyone gets maybe a bit of a better understanding of, hey, what are they doing? They're just standing behind the players, right? That's usually the perception. So yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity, and then everyone, I hope you guys enjoy playoffs.
Yeah, before you,
Same.
Go.
I also just wanted to say thanks for having us as well. I hope we have now a clear image of what referees do as well.
But before you guys go, I just want so that the people listening have a favorite leaving after today. What was your guys' win rate today when it comes to refereeing? Did your team win today?
I didn't work today. I came in just for the podcast.
Oh wow.
Giga chat. But I won, I lost, then I won, and then I won and won.
So you're 4-1
That's a
today.
dub, baby.
No. I have 3 wins, 1 lose.
3 wins, 1 lose. You're 3-1. I mean,
Yes.
Not bad. I mean, you won the best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, you just didn't show
Actually,
up.
world champion by the way.
I mean, this guy's world champion of referees right there. Yeah,
Yeah, I was behind
shout out to
T1. Yeah.
Showstopper.
That's the
We guys-
showstopper, baby.
That's the showstopper
Hell yeah.
right there. He's the chief referee right now.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you so
guys.
much. Thank you guys so much for
Thank you.
being on, and hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you.
Alright,
Have a
thank
good
you
day, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So we got some community questions that I wanted to ask you guys. First of all, Odo, someone asks, Tipsa, is Fnatic season already doomed, or will they come back to make Worlds as always?
It's actually a crazy stat, no? Fnatic always makes worlds, no matter how cooked it is, no matter how dire it is.
They always make Worlds?
Yeah, I think Fnatic hasn't missed worlds in about 8 years or so.
Is that true? Actually, it might be true. I don't remember them not being at Worlds.
They always make worlds. I mean, that's tradition for you.
2017, 2016 with Spirit and Gamsu was the last
That's
time they didn't
crazy.
make Worlds.
That's crazy. So
Wow.
when it comes to worlds, most people tend to forget everything that happens before in
Yeah.
the year. So when it comes to Fnatic last year, or even 2 years before, or 3 years before, or 4 years before, I have no idea whatever the hell happened in the splits.
There was
prior
the
to-
Reckless Rux. I played against that one.
That was
No, but I'm like,
23. It was 23.
no one remembers. That's the thing. No one remembers
I remember.
what happened in spring or summer or winter when it was winter and all of this stuff. So realistically, when summer starts, it's just even playing ground. There's gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna have civil war. There's gonna be a lot of teams that are already gonna be depressed from not achieving their goals in LEC Versus or LEC Spring. We've been one of those. I guess we've been one of those teams that got depressed twice. So we got our own share of civil wars. I feel like Fnatic got their own share of civil wars, and it's just a lot can happen throughout the rest of the year because there's gonna be 2 months since we see Fnatic again. A lot can change in that. Empiros can improve a lot on his laning phase, for example. Why do you laugh, man?
I don't know, like just the way you're phrasing it. You can just say, "Yeah, we're gonna make it." I don't know. You're like so like. I feel like you don't want to be optimistic. You need to like find all
Bro,
the
do you
reasons
know
for
me?
why
I'm
you
the
could
most
possibly be optimistic.
cynical and least optimistic person on. You know, when if I was 18-0 in Rogue and someone would ask me if I would win the split, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next week. You know,
Yeah, this was the most wholesome Odoamne tangent I've ever heard.
that's just how I go. I think it's not doomed. It's looking bad, but in typical Fnatic fashion, there is a way and there is a world, and there are a lot of scenarios where Fnatic will come back and make
Well,
worlds.
yeah, I mean the stats do back you up, and we also got SK Gaming, who the stats don't back up. Asking, how does one get to playoffs? Finn, how does your favorite team get to playoffs?
Are we
Next-
talking about next?
Well,
Because they can make it to playoffs now in spring. They just have to book a train, right, to Berlin and get some tickets from the management. But in general,
LEC.gg/tickets or something.
LEC.shop.gg tickets sale playoffs.
Yeah.
So for summer, well, how do they make? I was talking about playoffs. Playoffs is doable.
we're talking about
Playoffs
playoffs.
as a concept.
Playoffs is a concept.
As a concept.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Mickey almost always makes playoffs. Hasn't really
Good
been
stat.
the case in.
Good stat.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Hasn't really been the case in SK so far, but historically, Mickey almost never misses playoffs. So, I mean, I just have to believe he's gonna work his magic. I think Mickey, when I played with him, had some really good tools that he learned from Perks about how to save a losing team.
Oh.
And I think a thing that we did a lot in Excel that I would hope they're doing in SK is like after every single scrim day, usually people just go into solo queue, go gym, go eat or whatever. They're just scattered like little roaches. But what we did in Excel was that after every single scrim day, we would sit down on a couch for 3 hours and rewatch our scrims from the prior day without no emotional attachment to the
Yeah.
games and just discuss them
Wow.
objectively to kind of come to a consistent path forward of what we need to do as a team. Because I think right now, when you look at SK, there's a lot of ideas in SK. There's a lot of good parts and a lot of bad parts. And I think for them, they need to find their groove again. Because, I mean, whether or not they replace leader with slow Q, Swedish, That can have an impact as well. Like maybe they decide that is the way to go, but for me, just replacing mid, I don't think makes huge difference. I think they have far more problems. I think the fact that Mickey seems to go for a lot of solo plays, doesn't really involve himself with skins, is a big issue. They really need to work on their mid jungle synergy because I feel like they're just doing their own things all the time. Joppa, I think, is usually quite good, but also does a lot of individual mistakes, and I think Wunder is a bit up and down. So I think they just need to really find out what works for them and whether or not that is replacing leader or not. I think they need to figure that out now in the
Got
coming
it.
months.
Just need to lock in and make
Lock
it
in.
happen. Okay, we also got Landir asking if do you think the skill gap is closer this year? If it feels like the bottom teams on a good day could take out the best teams this year, and it wasn't like this in previous years.
I don't know.
I think lower teams always had the
The
They
upside.
always
the
had
blue
something.
shell. The blue shell was always a real
I
threat
don't know
from
if
the
the skill
bottom
gap
teams.
is close. I'm not really sure what happened because I feel like globally there's a lot of teams that are collapsing, or that a lot of teams are rising when I'm looking at the likes of Genji, for example. I don't know if it's the meta shift was so dramatic with the swaps and everything, just making it a lot more about laning phase, that some teams just, there's just no longer that macro defy. I felt like a lot of teams that would just macro defy you in the early game. They had a lot more avenues where they could just be winning the game against you. While right now you have stock and standard League of Legends for the first 8 minutes. Teams are pathing towards getting the sickle crab, getting the Drake, maybe doing a little swap for grubs and all of that. So I feel like that's the reason why the top teams are just so much more inconsistent and they're not so dominant anymore, just because a lot of their toolkits when it came to winning games was the macro aspect when it came to early game. How do you dodge bad matchups? How do you further, improve or empower your strong or like winning matchups so that they get bigger leads? While that kind of just went away with this season's patches, I feel like.
I mean, the snowball formula for a long time in League of Legends has been get ahead, get control. When they come in, you engage. But what happens when you don't have an engaged champion in the same manner? What happens when you're
Exactly.
support playing a Lulu or a Karma and all you have is a Glitter Lance or a Mantra Q just being flung their way? Suddenly, the way to snowball the game is a lot more complicated and
And a lot
complex.
slower, yeah.
And a lot slower. You need to take a lot more time. Also, combine that with the fact that in top lane, there's a lot of Varuses, Vaynes, Jaces, and if you play against the Varus or a Vayne and they just get ahead, you cannot play the game anymore because they just have so much pressure on the side. Also, if you have a Vayne or Varus that falls behind due to some early ganks, suddenly
They're
the game is
useless.
unplayable to come back from. Even if you're like a way better team, like you can't play the game when suddenly your Vayne is 0-5 and just dives to every single Nocturne. So I think there's a lot more weird, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
More variants.
variants, exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, in the game, and I feel like it will take a lot more time for the better teams to really flesh them out, so not fall into the simple traps.
Yeah, and I think you see a lot of the muscle memory from the previously strong teams. I'm thinking MCoy, for example, is my prime example when it comes to, as you said, Finn, the lack of engage. You need to find new ways to win the game, and you can't skip steps because before if you're MCoy,
You could kind of just find a good engage. and
yeah,
make it work.
exactly. You would just sit there, and it was easy to notice the end, pull the trigger, and win. But now one of the more frustrating things is that you just notice people inting, and you just have no tools where you can engage on them. There's no way where you can close the gaps, start the fight, wipe them. You're just forced to play a lot slower, play a lot more for the position and making space and all of these rotations where I honestly feel like a lot of teams are lazy. To be honest, I feel like a lot of teams in the past you would get away with the fact that you would just engage and someone would be inting and you just pull the trigger. And right now, the fact that teams got so used to skipping steps and not really knowing 100% why some macro concepts were good or why they're doing some of the certain things that they were doing 100%, I feel like now is the time when it's coming back to bite them in the ass because I think teams are struggling with the chanters. I see so many teams throwing positions where they have the full space and they just let enemy walk in for fun, just because they don't really know that they don't know the book. They didn't study the book. They just know the feeling of it. That's kind of where I feel like most of the teams that should be supposedly top teams are struggling and are dropping games.
Yeah, I think you can definitely notice that, especially I've seen so much where one team gets Nash and they just immediately
Yeah.
throw their lead because
Yeah.
they don't respect the flank or something, some engage, something. It just even more so than
It's
normal.
usually an 80 carry in the mid wave.
Okay, that happens as well,
let's just
but-
say it,
okay,
Jackspektra.
okay.
Let's just
No,
say it. It's
a lot
usually an
of-
80 carry dying on an extra mid wave.
Or I've seen Sinsao hitting tier 2 on bot, like a melee champion tries to hit the tier 2.
I saw Navi do
watched
that a couple of times.
Navi did back-to-back throws on bot tier 2. The first time was Mainter getting caught, and the second was whatever. It's fine. I want to talk about Madrid, because we still have 3 more days of LEC ahead of us. I'm really excited for Madrid. And something that we did last year that Shocks thought of that I thought was pretty cool. We had a King of Madrid for the Roadshow in Madrid, where the team that essentially won the most games were the King of Madrid. So I wanted to ask you two, who do you think would be the King of Madrid? Like, who is going to win the most games in this Roadshow?
I think it's going to be G2.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah. I think G2 is going to come in reloaded now into this. I think they've had a lot of time to ramp up throughout our season, and I feel like it might culminate now. I would want to say MKOI. First of all, because I really like watching MKOI play, but due to the factors we talked about and the meta shift, the fact that you want your top lanes on these ranged carries that, first of all, I thought was Miriam's strength back in the day. But Miriam was really good at playing these into matchups where they didn't really fight back.
Yeah.
But when he goes up against Kana or Naknako, now he's not playing Naknako in Madrid, but like, I don't have as much trust in Miriam to kind of facilitate his own leads in these range versus range matchups. And I also don't have a lot of trust in MKOI to close out games cleanly without Alvaro playing an engaged champion. Now, we did see today against, it was Shifters, that they were kind of putting Alvaro back on engaged. They were playing the Rakan, kind of just going back and kind of ignoring the meta, which I think is the correct way for MKOI to evolve. I think they got to play their own style, what works for them, and because the meta is not working in their favor. So I have a lot more faith in G2. I think Labrov is fantastic on Enchanters. I think Hansama is in fantastic shape right now. And I do believe in BB's bounce back. I think he's a really good top laner, and I think he'll show why. So to me, I would predict MKOI. G2.
The MKOI.
Sorry, the MKOI bug is in my brain just. But obviously, I think the main one to beat will be KC, because they do look really strong as well.
I definitely do get your faith for G2, but I'm KC. I don't know. Kalista and Busio, they're doing things to me. Like, it's so nice to watch. They were a bit inconsistent, I'd say, in the KC Roadshow, right? They dropped a lot of games, and it looked more shaky than I thought it would be. But at the same time, I don't know. That team, you just know if the game is like 20 minutes and the game is normal, KC's probably going to win.
But they almost got 2-0'd by Shifters and Fnatic.
Shifters would be top 6. We've heard now.
That was with Bukada.
But Bukada had some good games.
Yeah.
I think he played Jarvan. That might have been another series. But he played a really good Jarvan.
You know who I'm not excited about?
Okay.
GX.
Really? Why?
GX keeps doing this thing where every single split they play versus, I wouldn't call them the randoms, but the weak teams, where I feel like their strength of schedule or their schedule overall just starting off incredibly easy, and then the back half of the season is all the big boys. Because when it comes to teams higher standings than them, I feel like they just always lose. And then they had this great run in playoffs last time where, who did they even beat? I think they beat Vitality. No, Navi. They beat Navi, to make top 4 for the first time ever. And it's just, when I think of GX, it's just like, they fooled me way too many times, because I got excited for GX way too many times, and I've seen the story unveiled. This is the 3rd time in a row where I see the story unveiled, and I just have no faith in them. I'm just fully on the KC hype train. Their actual game score right now is quite insane. They're 12-3. They're 6-0, 12-3. They barely drop games. They drop games, yeah, sure. It was 2-1 against KC. 2-1 against Fnatic, 2-1 against Shifters. But at the same time, I've listed even earlier the issues I have with Movistar Koi, with the fact that Alvaro and Nelia are kind of in this weird loop where I feel like it's Jojo Pune or bust. I feel like he's not really getting a lot of support from other places. And with G2, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how to feel about G2, because BB laning phase is still a little bit poor. It's either one of those two. For me, KC and G2 is the super hype matchup that's going to preface the whole of playoffs, because they are still my two favorites to make it far into playoffs, even though Vitality is sitting there at 8-1.
I still think Koi got some magic. I don't know. I think
but that's the magic.
Talk to me, Jack. Okay.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Bro, Jojo is so good. Like,
yes, he is.
So good. Like, what? Veri was saying.
Jojo is the best player in our league right now.
Yes, that's what Veri was saying. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, I agree.
I have an even harder take. I think the two
think
best
Knock-Knock-
players in our league are from North America.
No way. I think Knock-Knock is better than Jojo Pure.
I disagree.
I think Knock Knock has had a bit of a not stinker, but underwhelming like last 3-4 series.
To me, Jojo Pion's consistent domination and brilliance shines brighter than Knock-Knocko's because Knock-Knocko is playing these.
I guess Knock Knock did just stomp your top laners.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, Odo. We don't need to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I see the argument for Knock-Knocko. I'm not like blind. But
Yeah.
to me, Jojo Pion is a mid laner. It is, in my opinion, a more difficult role than top lane. Even.
I mean, I would that.
wow.
and I think
I
his
mean-
impact is just way bigger.
So
on
for
the
me,
map.
it's one of those discussions where I think Knock-Knock is probably better, but if I would have to give the MVP of the league, I would probably give it to Jojo.
Yeah.
Easily. Because I think the things that he brings to the team, and he's the heart and soul of Movistar Koi right now. I feel like without him, the team is not, having these championship level aspirations, and he leveled up. The fact that he leveled up so much from Versus to now is the only reason why I'm not completely giving up on them. I listed the issues, right? I listed the fact that I think Elio and Alvaro are not finding the synergies that they previously had. The level of deadliness and roams and just overall impact on the map is not as much as it was when Alvaro could be playing these engaged supports. But that's where Jojo stepped in massively, and that's why my stonks on MKOI are still high. But it's hard for me to just discredit KC and G2 like that.
I mean, I still think back to last finals, right, in Madrid.
Yeah.
Where I saw the sad faces on the MKOI players because they were playing in Madrid, in Barcelona or Madrid? In Madrid. They played in Madrid and they were just so sad and angry that they lost in Madrid. And I feel like this fire, if it is to show now that MKOI has it to take it all, I think it will show now in Madrid because I think they will come in really, really fired up because they really don't want to repeat that same disappointment that happened last time in Madrid. And I think they will come in and really try to make something happen this split this roadshow because I see it. I think Merwin has been very lackluster, and I think Elioya and Alvaro has been shaky.
They are clutch players, to be honest. I mean, they are clutch, and if it's the time to show it, it's now. But
this is the clutch time for sure.
Oh, but that's why it's so hard to always predict them because they always do this where they're just like so damn inconsistent and they just drop the ball so much, but then they just lock in, become super clutch and win. It's just so damn hard
to me. The one that I am most curious about is actually Supa, because Supa has had so many fantastic moments in our league.
Yeah,
and he's had so many int moments in our league. I think even just the game I watched today, Supa just walks up to a Meganar, gets jumped on, and gets one shot when they were swapping. I'm like, why are you doing this, Supa? But then he pops off completely in team pass. I'm like, okay, I love you and I hate you. Like, this is like a toxic relationship happening. Like,
That's
I want to
how Jackie
believe in him, but I also struggle sometimes to have my faith in him. But I really want to see how Supa and Alvaro versus Busio and Khalid goes, because to me this is a super hype matchup. There's a lot of history between these two players. There's a lot of rivalry between these two teams, and I think that to me is the matchup to watch. The bot lane in KC versus MKOI.
I'm favoring the KC bot lane.
I mean, I'm favoring them as well.
But it definitely is a really exciting bot lane matchup to watch. And I think the bot lane meta, I think in the last few weeks for me, has been a lot more exciting with more like Lucian Milio being played, Kalista Renata. We saw Kai'Sa today, a lot of Ezreal. I feel like we're still seeing Ashe Seraphine. But
Seraphine?
Seraphine, I think Seraphine is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. I like the more spiciness that we're getting, but it's getting pretty late. So I think that'll be all we have time for this week. And it was great getting an insight into the referee world of the LEC. So a massive thank you to Mochi and Evren for joining us. And as we head into the final week of the regular season, it's time to start looking toward playoffs and beyond. If you want to watch the best LEC teams battle it out in the playoffs, you can get tickets right now on ematickets.lolesports.com. And once again, thanks for ExpressVPN for the support of the podcast. And we'll be back for the next episode just before playoffs. And we can talk about all our
Exciting
playoff
stuff.
predictions
Exciting stuff.
and see who will be the best team in our league.
Exciting.
Bye-bye.
Visit expressvpn.com/LEC to get your exclusive LEC offer from the #1 gaming VPN. Signing up today will unlock Hextech Chess, allowing you to get access to in-game champions and skins such as Aurora and Xin Zhao. Rewards will vary depending on the plan you choose.